Hi everyone, my name is Anangsha Alammyan and welcome back to my channel. In this recent series of interviews that I'm doing with amazing writers on Medium, today I have with me a very special guest. Her name is Kathrine Meraki, and if you follow content related to relationships, attachment, and mindset, it's impossible that you haven't heard her name. Kathrine started her Medium journey in June last year, but since then she was not very active on the platform. But on March 2020, she started writing more frequently on the platform. And right after 2 months, in May, she made $3,000 just by writing on Medium. And she quit her job to become a full time writer and a self employed creative. So, in this chat, Kathrine and I are going to discuss what it takes to finally gather the courage to quit your job and become a self employed person. And also, we're going to discuss some nitty gritties of the platform of writing on Medium and what it takes to be a good writer. So, I'm so excited to introduce Kathrine to you guys. I hope you find this chat as useful and as informative as I did. Hi, Kathrine. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you're doing good.
I'm doing great. Just enjoying the hot weather. It's finally summer here.
Right. Okay. Oh, it's the winter has started here, so
Oh, really?
yeah, more or less. So so many people they always you have recently quit your full-time job to pursue your passion full-time, right? So many people want
Yeah.
to take that leap. They want to do it, but there's always something that's stopping them, right? So how did you define like when you are going to quit your job? How did you know? Like, did you set a limit that this much time or this much money or something? How did you know when to take the jump?
Yeah, so it was actually pretty random, and I don't recommend this to everyone. It depends what your financial circumstances are, but I just decided it was kind of a joke at first. I was like, if I make $3,000 at the end of this month, then I'm going to quit my job. And then when the end of May rolled around, I hit like 3,200, and I was like, oh crap. Okay. All right. So I just handed in my resignation, and yeah, it was pretty random.
Okay, that sounds very interesting that it's so random. So like did you have this thing that you can go back to your job anytime you want or it was like forever?
No, it was forever. I was like, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna quit to do this full time.
That's really amazing. So how did the people who were closest to you react?
um, they were all pretty supportive, actually. I thought, I mean, because I quit during the first COVID lockdown, I thought that people were going to be judgy about it. You know, lots of people lost their jobs and all that stuff. And I did feel a bit bad, but nobody was like, how dare you? How dare you throw away your secure job? Yeah, everyone was pretty good.
Okay, that's really nice. So, did you feel anything like most people when they go through this thing, there is that voice inside their head saying that what if you don't make the same amount next month, or what if you can't sustain this level of income? So, how did you get over that, or was it just like I'm not going to do the job anymore?
Yeah, so I feel like I kind of just accepted that as like fluctuating, I guess. Like, you know, I suppose that's the nature of writing and self-employment. It's not always going to be consistent, and that's a gamble that you have to take, I guess, if you want to follow whatever you want to do. So it's scary, but you know, it's a part of the deal.
So, how has life been like being self-employed?
It's been not what I thought, to be honest. it's it's been good in a lot of ways, but also there's been a lot of lessons that I've learned, not just about like writing and things, but like about myself that I didn't realize when I was an employee. It's just yeah, things you don't think will affect you that do. And it's a really good lesson for personal growth, I think, as scary as it is and challenging, but yeah.
So, like when you don't have any deadlines on yourself, there might be a case when you tend to overwork, right? If you aim that you're planning to write say 5 articles a week, and you finish the 5 articles and you feel like, oh, I can write 7, and then it keeps going on. So how do you define that maximum? Like, how do you put that limit?
Yeah, so at the start, I was really like, I burnt out after like 3 weeks when I first quit my job. And now I've started to learn to kind of follow like my natural energy, if that makes sense. Before I was just kind of still functioning as an employee, doing like 9 to 5 and write as many articles every day. But it just isn't sustainable. Like you burn out so fast. You need to listen to your body. Otherwise, it's just like you knock yourself out, and then you can't write for like, a week or two. Like I had a week-long headache and I couldn't do anything. I had to rest. So I think resting is really important.
Of course, otherwise you tend to burn out, right? If you work too much and too hard.
Yeah.
So, what are some things that you do for yourself, like self-care or taking time off from writing or working?
Yeah. So, I mean, I like having a routine for myself, and I meditate. I started jogging now, riding my bike and doing a lot of journaling and trying not to, I guess, be hard on myself if I don't write, a certain amount of words a day or whatever it is. I think not judging yourself is one of the best things that you can learn to do for a self-care strategy, I guess.
You have to be compassionate to yourself, right? Even if you are in a job or self-employed, I think that's the most important thing, that you need to recognize what you have done and be aware of it, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So how has Medium been going? Like, you said that you would quit if you make 3,000 or more than that in a month. So, when did you start writing on Medium, and how long did it take for you to make your first 3,000?
Yeah, so I started writing on Medium, I think like June last year. My sister introduced Medium to me. And I wasn't really taking it seriously back then. I just kind of was, I guess, practicing and just doing like random things like poetry and stuff. And then at the start of this year, I was like, okay, like I'm actually going to write, like make a schedule for writing. And I started doing that. And then I ended up being mentored by Sanem through Medium Writing Academy. And that was, I think, in March, just before the lockdown happened, I think, or around the time it happened. Yeah. And then I just took it seriously from there, probably, March or Feb. And then here we are.
So it's just like 2 months after you started your mentorship coaching, you just quit your job. That's
Yeah.
really amazing. I mean, most people, for them, it sounds like a dream, right? Making 3,000 a month of Medium. So it's really great. So
Yeah.
you would say that it took you about like 9 or 10 months, right, to reach that 3K goal on Medium.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't, like, when I first started, I didn't really have like that kind of financial goal. I was just doing it for fun, just like as like a personal diary kind of thing. But yeah, when I started taking it seriously, I joined Medium Writing Academy, and then a month later, I hit my goal because I was getting mentored, and like I always recommend people invest in themselves and like learn how to write and get a mentor that's done it. And Sanem's amazing, so I recommend her.
That's really amazing. I mean, okay, so how did that the month that you made 3,000, how did the distribution look like? Was it like a few viral articles, or was it like all the articles made like equal amount of money?
Yeah, so it was kind of like a mix of both, I guess, because I think the month before I wrote like 30 articles or something like that. And I started kind of niching down and really focusing on relationships and mental health type stuff, because that's my background and what I've worked in the past. So I think that definitely helped, like having like people knowing that, oh yeah, Kathrine is for relationships or whatever, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically like you're building a personal brand, right? Writing about particular topics.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's It's really great that you found your niche. So currently on Medium, do you stick to that niche? And how many articles do you write these days per month?
Yeah, so I had this little phase, like I think the start of the month, last month, where I was like, I'm so sick of writing about relationships. I needed to take a break. So I just completely abandoned it and I started writing about just random stuff. And now I'm back writing relationship topics. So I think, yeah, taking a break definitely helped. But yeah, I can't remember what the rest of the question is.
No, that's all right. So, most people, when they start on Medium, they have these insane goals, right? That they want to make like $500 in their first month, but then they get
Yeah.
demotivated because it's not possible for someone to just start and make insane amounts of money, right? So, for people like that, what would you say? Like, how should they be patient, and how should they slowly work their way towards making a living through Medium?
Yeah, so I think like again, I guess, you know, getting a mentor or doing a course. I mean, you don't have to invest in a mentor, but doing a Medium course to help you, I guess, learn the ropes of the platform and being patient and not like, I guess, focusing too much on sharing your stuff all the time in like those Medium groups. Like, yes, it can be helpful, but I think a lot of people get like sucked into that whole, like they start criticizing the platform when they're not earning enough. I say avoid that crap and just focus on writing and writing about what you like and about what brings people, gives people value, I guess.
Yeah, I
Patience.
think that's the most important thing. You should write something that gives people value. That's something most people don't focus on, especially beginners, because I have seen
Yeah.
some of the people on Facebook groups, they have like for 2,000, 3,000 claps on each and every article. And it's all because of the engagement groups. And I was thinking that even the most followed people on Medium don't have 1K claps on each article. So it's like
Yeah.
it gives a boost to their ego, maybe. I don't know. If they spend that time on writing rather than on engagement groups, it would help a lot, I think, in the long run.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like if people like if you're not right, if you're just getting claps from people and you're not like people aren't engaging with your work like properly, like reading it and enjoying it, then what's the point? Like if you're just doing it for that, it seems a bit silly. Like I don't know.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, according to you, how does the anatomy of a successful Medium article look like?
Well, what I've learned from writing, like, because I write a lot in PS I Love You, you know, having the headlines, I guess, not writing giant blocks of text, um, and always adding in like a bit of your own personal story definitely helps, and backing it with research, using, links, like correct links to proper scientific research and things like that. Yeah, that's the main ingredients that I use. Seems like it would be more complicated, but I guess that's worked for me. So,
So, what would you say are some tips for writing great headlines or titles?
well, I'm actually trying to learn some more copywriting stuff. So I will get back to you on that.
Sure, sure, sure. So, like, you already said that your favorite topics to write about on Medium is about relationships mostly, right? So, do you think that on Medium, there are only some topics that work, or can a beginner they pick any topic they wish to write about?
Yeah, so I guess like when you're beginning, I think always just experiment and see what works for you, because some people have experience in like, I guess, writing about productivity or fitness or health or relationships, and that works for them. But I think it's about experimenting, because what I say might not work for someone. But I guess in my experience, like when I had that little experiment of taking a break from writing about relationships, I found that relationships were my best, or most engaged topic, I guess. And yeah, so I feel like I can't remember what else I wrote about. I think it was like productivity or something. Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah.
So you already said that you like publishing with PS I Love You, right? So aside from
Yeah.
that, do you have any other publications that you write for quite frequently?
Yeah, so I do the Ascent. Change Your Mind, Change Your Life is a good one. Gosh, you got me on the spot here. I created my own publication to put some random things that didn't fit into other publications, like postgrad as well. I was writing for, and that was fun and liberating, I gotta say.
What's the name of your publication?
It's called The Manifester.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
really nice. So you can write about. Okay, that's great.
I just write about anything and everything pretty much that doesn't fit into like big publications, I guess.
Right. So, as for someone who's just starting out on the platform, what would you say? Like, is it better if they stick to a few, like 2 or 3 publications, or should they try and get published in as many big publications as possible?
I think everyone should try and dip their toes into anything that they think fits, as long as they're following the guidelines, I guess, and not just like trying to, I don't know. You've frozen. Are you still there?
Yeah, you are frozen for me.
Okay.
Okay. Right. So, do you have an email list?
Yes, I do. I actually have 2.
So, like, what do you think? Like, do you think every writer should have one, or is it just optional?
I think everyone should have one because, you know, if you want to like create a product or something in the future, like having people that are interested in your work can, you know, it's a good bridge, I guess. And also just having like people who are interested in your work. I think that's really nice, and like being able to connect with those people and help them with your content. Like that's the fun part about writing
Right. So,
advice or giving value. Yeah.
like it takes a lot for a person to put their email address on the list, right? So how do you write a good call to action or a CTA? How do you make a person want to
So
give their email address to you?
yeah, I think, well, I mean, I've changed my CTAs a few times, but I feel like putting like, instead of being like, join my email list, you know, it could be something like, if you enjoyed this content, feel free to keep in touch for similar content or something like that via my newsletter. That way you're not forcing people, and it gives them that option, because people don't like to be told what to do. They like to be given the option. Yeah.
Most people have this, most writers, they offer a freebie, right? Like a 5-day course or a book. So have you considered giving a freebie, or do you already have something like that?
Yeah, so I did, because I was using MailChimp. Now I'm using Substack for my newsletter. So I had a freebie with MailChimp, but now I've switched. I don't have a freebie.
Right. So the first thing I'm going to do
Yeah.
after this is I'm going to go and join your email list.
Yeah. Well, there's 2. I have one for relationships and just other random stuff.
So on Substack, I don't think there's an option to give a automated course, right? Automated email list. You just have to
Yeah.
give the
I
email.
don't. Yeah. I think it's very different. Like there's no real, I guess you don't get to make your own landing page or anything like that. So it is different. But yeah, I like Substack because if you like for my relationship one, I do like a paid post on there as well. So it's a good way for people who are struggling with I guess attachment issues, which is what I write about, to go there and access like the entire library of my relationship posts. So Substack's good for that if you have a niche and you want to share that stuff via paid newsletter.
Yeah, I think that's the best option, like for paid newsletter, right? Substack. Okay, so
Yeah.
definitely. So like as an author, as an independent content creator or a self-employed person, do you think it's necessary for a person to have their presence on multiple social media platforms, or is it better if they stick to like one or two?
Yeah, so I mean, I tried to do that. Like I tried Facebook, Twitter, and I've got Instagram, which is the thing I use most. But to be honest, for me personally, I felt like it was very distracting and it took away time from actually writing content.
Okay,
So especially when you join like Facebook groups and stuff, it's so easy to just get like scrolling through and just losing complete track of time. So I've just like stepped away from using Facebook and Twitter as much, and just focusing more on Instagram and actually writing on Medium, because I feel like Medium's a social platform. So why not just put your energy into that?
absolutely. So you're right. Currently, you're on Instagram and Substack and Medium, right?
Yeah.
So how frequently do you write on Substack, your newsletter?
So I do my relationship newsletter once a month, and I do my other newsletter every fortnight. Yeah.
Okay, that's really great. So, especially when you're self-employed, people always keep stressing on having multiple sources of income. So, what's your take on that?
Yeah, like I think it's important, and again, like I guess it depends on the individual's financial situation. Like do they have a partner who's helping support them, or is it just you, or anything like that? But I guess for me, like I have multiple income streams. Like I rent my car out, so that brings in some income. I've got Medium, I've got my Substack, and I also have shares in the stock market. Yeah, so I think it's good to have, I guess, different things, and also having savings. Like if you're going to quit your job, I would advise against doing it with $0 in your bank account. Because
Absolutely. It's always
yeah,
best to have something to fall back upon, right?
yeah, definitely. And I think, I mean, when you like, if you quit your job to write, or even just to be self-employed, if you have like a lot of savings to fall back, it's helpful, because I mean, quitting your job is like a big deal, and
Absolutely.
it can actually bring up a lot of like financial subconscious blocks that I guess you didn't realize you had. And some of us need to be prepared to work through them, I guess. Like I'm still working through them, and I think that's why it's important to have those streams and savings. Yeah.
Right. So after you quit your job and became self-employed, what was the biggest lesson that you learned? Like, what was something that you did not expect would happen but happened, or a lesson,
So
whatever?
many things. um, yeah. So I think the biggest one was actually the um, the mindset stuff. I think, as I said, like you don't realize that you might have these subconscious blocks hiding, because when you're an employee, you're basically getting, you're getting your paycheck, and you know how much you're going to get. And when you quit, it's like kind of unpredictable. And humans they don't like getting out of their comfort zone. So when you kind of shake the tree a little bit, it's scary, and it brings up a lot of things. And I'm not saying this to put people off like quitting their job and stuff, but it's the truth. And I wish I knew this stuff before I quit, so that I could have, like, I guess, prepared. Or, I mean, you can never prepare, but being aware of it definitely helps. Yeah, that's
Right.
probably the biggest lesson.
I think that's a very important point that you raise, because people don't have this idea. They think it's very glamorous to be self-employed, but it's there
Yeah,
are so many things you can't really consider, you can't really weigh in before actually making that decision, right? So
yeah, definitely.
I like to, conclude this with a very generic question or very cliche question. So if somebody is, thinking of taking the jump of being a full-time self-employed person, what would you tell them? Like, what would you advise them?
I would tell them to have some savings, consider how it will affect their life, and if they have a partner or children, because that, I don't have children, so that's I guess something that they need to take into consideration. And also really asking yourself, do I have any baggage that I need to work on? And even if you don't realize it, you probably will experience it when you quit. And then you'll have to deal with it. And it can be fun, and it's like great to learn about yourself. So yeah, just be open-minded, I guess.
Right. It's like, whatever difficulties come your way, you take them in your stride and then just work your way through them, right?
Yeah, definitely. Self-care and a good routine will help.
Right. That's
Yeah.
really helpful. So yeah, that brings us to the end of this chat. Thank you so much. You gave some really, really, really valuable insights. I'm sure it would be helpful to whoever is watching right now.
Thanks so much for reaching out. It's been really lovely chatting to you. You're so nice.
Same here, same here.
Good
You
vibes.
really made my day. Thank you. Have a great week.
You
Bye.
too. Talk to you later. Bye.
So that brings us to the end of this chat. I had such a great time talking with Kathrine. She had such amazing insights to offer about writing on Medium and becoming self employed. I hope you found this video as helpful and as informative as I did. I have left all the links to Kathrine's social media profiles and her Medium and her email list in the description of this video. Make sure you follow her, and if you have any suggestions for what next video I should make, let me know in the comments. And also, as usual, if you have any questions, you can definitely let me know. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again soon. Bye.